joining me today is travelling marshal Sam Taylor. Sam, how are you keeping?
Yeah, not too bad. Ex-travelling marshal.
Ex-travelling marshal, of course. So Sam, you started travelling to the races as a child with your dad, the races here in Ireland and the Isle of Man. So did he spark that interest in the sport for you?
I would say definitely, yeah. The first TT I ever went to, I was 5 years of age, on the back of a 250 Honda. And even going around the Isle of Man, my dad used to wonder where was I when I was on the back, because I was hanging off the side and trying to get my knee out the way the racers actually did, you know. So he definitely had an influence on it, and brought me to races every weekend. If your dad is into GAA or your dad is into football, that's what you do every weekend, but mine was road racing every weekend, so yeah.
And then in 2002 you took out your licence to go circuit racing, and then 2004 you took out your road licence. So what was the drive behind doing this?
Well, every time I went to a race and I saw them darting off and the speeds they were hitting, I wanted to do it myself. I think it's the same in anybody really. And then 2002 I came back from Australia and got my circuit licence, went racing in the 600 Super Sport, found it very competitive now. It was like Derek Shields, John Burrows, Jonathan Ralph, Stephen Jenkins, all them, they were all in the same class I was in, and I found that quite competitive. And at the start it was all in non-qualifiers, because there's a learning curve obviously in racing, and that curve is steep and takes a while to get up it.
Yeah. And then obviously after that you never actually went road racing on the roads.
Oh yeah, I applied for my road licence after I did the circuits for a while, and got the licence, but then tragedy struck in one of the road races and travelling marshal Freddie Russell died, and I was asked to come and do a couple of races as Freddie wasn't there anymore, so I had to fill big shoes now with that, because Freddie was a legend in the travelling marshal team, and I was a bit, will I be able to do as good a job as he did, you know?
And then sometimes I feel like, you know, people like the spectators and people that are on the outside forget the role that a travelling marshal, like how crucial the role they play is. Like, what are the tasks that a travelling marshal would have to undertake?
It can vary from very small things to major things. Like just before races even commence, we have to make sure that all the gates are closed, all the ropes are up, all the spectators are in behind, all the ambulances are in position. And then when it comes to when the bikes are getting going, one of us will always lead a warm-up lap, or the 5 laps for the newcomers, which has to be gradually progressed from speed, so to get used to the track. At the first lap of the race, there's always a group of 4 of us at the back, be it a doctor, paramedic, and probably 2 travelling marshals. And we usually have this rule because it takes 2 people to remove a helmet should there be an incident at the first lap. Usual things are from the road race, you see 1 or 2 going down rather than just 1. So you need 2 people there to remove a helmet, so that's why we're 4 at the back.
And you were travelling marshal then for 9 years. I'm sure you had great memories.
Yeah, I had a lot of funny memories and stuff. 2004 to 2013 I think it was in total, and I had some fantastic memories. Even silly things down to the guy called Damien Malidi. He used to be number 111. He fell off in Kennedy's Corner in Killalane, and you always look at these road racers, think they're big macho men, you know, but he dislocated his little finger, I think it was his little finger, and one of the doctors just relocated it for him there and then at scene, and the scream that came out of him, you'd be thinking these macho men are
I know
but they are. But like Victor Gilmore, I remember coming up to me one time in Kells, and he had to get out for the next, it was Skerries actually, he had to get out for the next race, but he was missing the fairing, his belly pan fell off his bike. And he said, will you go and get it, it's only small. So I went out, we had about 5-minute breaks, so I went out to get it, and I came back, I had to drive the bike with one hand. His whole fairing came off rather than just his belly pan, but when I came back he just laughing away at me, because he said, I knew you wouldn't get it if you used full fairing, you know. But memories like that. I remember one of the second race I did was in Dundalk in 2004, and when you look in your rear view mirror when you're leading them off, I think it was the first race I ever led, because we used to get used to it from the back first. And you'd have Martin Finnegan, Darren Lindsay, Ryan Farquhar, Adrian Archibald, all those famous numbers in the rear view of your mirror, and you're going, oh my god,
I'm
actually leading these. Now I know they're not allowed to go past me, but I felt like I was leading.
You had to keep the tempo for them to stay behind you. And then, you know, 9 years, like, it's a long time when you look back of doing it. What was it that kept you wanting to do it and kept going back?
You get a lot of satisfaction out of it, like it's voluntary, but you get such satisfaction out of doing it, especially when the day goes well and the fans are cheering at the end, and you know the day has run well, there's been very few injuries or whatever, and everybody's going home and everybody's happy, and just the need for speed. I needed my need for speed the way the racers do, and I get to do it that's not on a competitive level, so I'm not worried about home race, lap times, all that sort of stuff, so I'm a bit more relaxed, I'd say, than some of the racers are. So you get to do, and plus you get more laps than the racers themselves. So watching the progression of some riders, like Damien Horan used to come up to me down in Faugheen and stuff like that, and we'd have the chats. You'd have a burger, a cup of tea, a beer, whatever. And he was doing circuits, and he wanted to go onto the roads. And actually, when he went onto the roads, he thought I could show him the way around, and I says no way. But like most road races, they start off a bit slower.
Yeah.
Now Damien's absolutely flying, and if I won the lotto now, I think I'd give him plenty of money to buy a nice bike for himself. But the progression of him is fantastic, and the progression of other riders,
And then, of course, you mentioned there the roles and responsibilities that the travelling marshals would play on race day, and a huge leader, I suppose, that everyone would stand out in everyone that's involved in road racing is John Hines.
Yeah.
How influential was he when you were a travelling marshal and he was the doctor on site?
He was the man that taught us everything, really. I forgot to mention there, part of our roles are to assist the medical team and sort out ambulances and assist with injuries and stuff like that when we can. And John's interest in pre-hospital care was just through the roof, and he simplifies everything. Yeah, but he'd simplify it. There's nothing he can't do. There's nothing we can't do. There's nothing the team can't do. And it was an absolute tragedy then when he went, because he was always teaching us what to do, and then he became the patient, which is a bit ironic, or there's a lot of irony in that role that everything got reversed. But he is just so calm. No matter what the incident is, he'll just deal with it, and that's it. Whether it's a friend, somebody doesn't know, no matter what.
I think you have to, though, in that sort of role. You really that's really just a huge asset when you can do that. I don't know how you do it, but
well, everybody refers to him as Doc John. We just knew him as John because he was a mate, and he'd be texting you sometimes going, do you want to come up? I have a spare bike and this sort of stuff. He was very funny because we'd be doing well just to have a decent set of tyres on our bike. He'd turn up with a spare bike with wet tyres on it, and we're going, he's like a Grand Prix racer,
And now you're retired, obviously, from doing the travelling marshal, but would you ever consider going back? Or are you?
I'd consider it. My dad did it for 26 years, I did it for 9, and now my dad has finished, so I'd consider it, but having 4 young girls makes me think differently, and I'd possibly go back. I do miss it.
Your dad retired in 2018, is that?
I think it was 18, yeah.
And did you ever, you obviously were travelling together then at one point as well?
That's why my mum found it hard to watch tourists out there.
Well, that was very insightful into the role of a travelling marshal, and I hope everyone at home enjoyed watching this, so thank you very much, Sam.
No problem, Holly. No problem at all.